The desert doesn't scream when it kills you. It waits. That was the first thing Eli Carter learned the morning. He found her bleeding in the dust. The sun hadn't fully climbed yet, but the heat was already pressing down like a hand on his spine when he heard the horse, wild, panicked, running without a rider. He followed the tracks into the ravine and found her there, half-conscious, dress torn at the thigh, face pale as chalk. Her name, he would learn later, was Mara Quinn. At that moment, she was just a dying stranger staring at him with eyes full of fear and fire. "Don't just look," she whispered, breath shaking. "Something bit me. Between my legs. I can feel it burning. It's spreading." Eli froze. He'd survived gunfights, stampedes, men who smiled before they killed you, but this was different. He dropped to his knees beside her and saw the puncture marks already darkening. Venom climbing her veins like black lightning. Rattlesnake. Close. Deadly. She grabbed his sleeve with a strength that surprised him. "You know what you have to do," she said. "Suck it out, or I won't last an hour." The old rules of the frontier were cruelly simple. Act fast or bury the dead. Eli's hands shook. He'd heard the stories, the risks, the shame that followed women who survived things like this. But he also knew the truth. Venom doesn't care about reputation. It only spreads. As he worked to save her life, the desert stayed silent, watching. And when it was done, when she passed out and he carried her onto his horse, Eli Carter knew one thing for certain. Whatever had bitten her hadn't just poisoned her blood, it had tied their fates together. The fever came in waves, dragging her through memories she'd buried long ago. Why she was running, who she was running from, and why stopping meant death. Eli stayed with her through the night, cooling her skin, forcing water between her lips, listening as she called names that weren't his. Names of men who had hurt her, men who might still be hunting her. By dawn the venom had slowed, but the danger hadn't passed. Word traveled fast in the frontier, and a woman alone rarely stayed that way for long. When riders appeared on the horizon, Eli felt the weight of the choice he'd already made. He could leave. He didn't. The men claimed she was a thief, a liar, property. Mara's eyes met Eli's, silent, pleading. He remembered the fear in her voice when she begged him to save her life, remembered how close death had been. He stepped forward and lied through his teeth. "She's under my protection." Guns lifted. The desert held its breath. What followed was fast and brutal. Dust. Blood. The sound of shots echoing against stone. When it was over, 2 men lay dead, and Eli knew there was no turning back. He wasn't just a cowboy passing through anymore. He was a man, standing between a woman and the world that wanted to break her. Mara finally told him the truth that night. She hadn't stolen gold. She'd stolen evidence, names, proof of men who ruled towns from the shadows. Men who would kill to keep their secrets buried. The venom hadn't killed her, but it had stopped her from running. And now, the desert was closing in. They cornered Eli and Mara at the canyon's edge, rifles gleaming, voices confident. Power always sounds calm right before it spills blood. Mara stepped forward before Eli could stop her. She was weaker now, scarred, but alive. And alive meant dangerous. She threw the evidence into the fire and spoke their names out loud. Loud enough for the wind to carry them. Loud enough that secrets would never stay buried again. The shots came anyway. When the dust settled, Eli lay wounded, staring up at the sky while Mara pressed her hands to his chest, refusing to let him go. The venom had almost taken her life. The desert had almost taken his. But together they had taken something back, choice. Weeks later, they rode out of town together. Not as heroes, not as legends. Just 2 people who survived when they weren't supposed to. Because sometimes the thing that saves you isn't courage or strength, but someone who refuses to look away when death is staring you in the eyes. If you believe stories like this deserve to be told, subscribe to the channel because more powerful, unforgettable stories are coming, and the desert still has secrets to share.
Subscribe to my channel.